Yo, let's get into it. This video today is going to be, as you can see by the title, my most controversial video that I've made yet. The reason why I'm making this is because, I've realized something that, the thing about me is I try not to sugarcoat everything and I tell it like it is. To the people who complain about the WWE Raw format, and I know I've done it. Everybody's done it here on YouTube. Let's not lie. We've all done it. The thing is, if you're hoping for Monday Night Raw to be a wrestling show, the thing you need to do is lower your standards, as I've said about 1,000 times. I don't know how many more times I can keep saying it. You got to lower your standards, and you got to realize that Raw is never going to be a wrestling show. Basically, this is how it goes. You need to watch Raw for your entertainment. For the wrestling fans, the right thing for you to do if you are a wrestling fan and you don't really care so much for the redundant Hollywood storylines that Raw puts on, the thing you need to do is you need to lower your standards. And if you want good, solid wrestling, the right thing for you to do is you need to go over to SmackDown. And the way to do it is, hey, for those of you guys that don't really watch sci-fi or whatever, here's the way to do it. What you do is you go on YouTube Friday morning, if you have the time, and you put in WWE SmackDown, the date that it airs, and you can watch it that way. And that's what I do, if I even do that. And I've come to the conclusion that sometimes there's just no pleasing the wrestling fans. I mean, to be honest, with Monday Night Raw, I can admit I'm not pleased with it. That's why after WrestleMania, as I've said, there's not going to be a reason for me to really watch Raw at all because Raw's format does not impress me, and I've said it before. The only reason why I kept reviewing Raw is because I was the new guy. And after WrestleMania, to tell you guys the truth, if I were to never really review another Raw again other than the road to WrestleMania, I've had my fill. Because for those of us who have been watching, 15, 20 years, 25 years, there's nothing left to see storyline wise. Give me a 20-minute match over a storyline any day of the week. I mean, I truly think sports entertainment has run its course. There's always going to be fans for it, don't get me wrong. But for the wrestling fans, the right thing for us to do is to go ahead to SmackDown. In regards to TNA, what can I say about TNA that hasn't already been said? All I can say about them is I wish them luck. And a lot of people are saying 2013 is the year that they might go under if they stick to where they're going, which if they would have just stuck to what the hell they knew, they would have at least been moderately successful. And I do think Dixie Carter is nothing more than a mark in the wrestling business, and she needs to listen to the wrestling fans because TNA all along was meant to be a professional wrestling company and not a sports entertainment company. And it's going to be really, really sad when TNA goes. And my advice is to any other company that's going to start up in the future, whatever you do, unless you're a big time NBA owner or somebody that has more money than Vince McMahon, don't ever, 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 ever go on to compete with McMahon because 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. So the best thing you can do is be the alternative and showcase wrestling. Plain and simple as that. And in this next subject of the Attitude Era, a lot of people that I've talked to lately, I go to college with a couple people, and I talked to one of my friends today, and he said, we need the Attitude Era back. The thing about the Attitude Era is, guys, this will piss off a lot of people, so try not to kill me. But looking back on the Attitude Era was not really great wrestling. The Attitude Era only existed because of the edginess of ECW and Hulk Hogan's heel turn, and WWE decided to follow suit and become more edgier and become more of that, edgier Days of Our Lives, Jerry Springer type crowd, which is what Vince wanted. And a lot of people, I guarantee, what pisses me off is when people say, this is when wrestling was wrestling. No, it wasn't. The Attitude Era was not about wrestling. It was about guys who go out there, cut promos, did things with guitars, chairs, fire, kendo sticks, barbed wire, all that shit. Pile drivers, all that stuff. Stone Cold, McMahon, The Rock, Austin. All those guys were mainly known for talking on the mic, and those matches that we saw were maybe 5-10 minutes long, and that really wasn't great wrestling. To me, the Attitude Era was when wrestling died, and this is why Raw is in its current format that it's in today. In regards to the PG era, do I think it's going to end? No. Don't get your hopes up. It's almost as if WWE is telling USA Network and so forth, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of do a throwback to the Attitude Era and be a little bit more edgy, but after WrestleMania, they're going to go back to doing the same stuff that they did previously before. So don't get your hopes up. In regards to The Rock and Miz and Cena, I don't care. All I want is a rock bottom on Cena, and I'm happy. So, guys, sorry if this offended some people, and some people are going to disagree. But I also think that, when you look at the Attitude Era, and a lot of people say that the wrestling was good, I have to disagree. I think WCW had the better wrestling product than the WWF did during the Attitude Era. That is at least until Russo and his butt buddy Ed Ferrara got there and decided to fuck shit up and make it a lengthy non-wrestling segment show. And I miss WCW. I still wish it was here today. I miss ECW too, because I wish that was here today. You could argue what's killed wrestling or what's ruined wrestling. McMahon ruined wrestling. Or, the internet ruined wrestling. I think personally it has a lot to do with a lot of stuff. Eric Bischoff did his part in ruining wrestling by keeping the NWO angle going around way too long, pushing the same guys over and over and over again, and it didn't get any better when Vince Russo got there. Paul Heyman, as great and as hardcore as it was, he didn't really want to trust anybody with the finances, so therefore ECW ended up folding. A lot of guys left ECW, and, Paul Heyman owes probably about $1 million altogether with all the money that, the talent needed to get paid. For Vince, what ruined it on the WWE side of things is when he bought out WCW and ECW. March 26, 2001 was the darkest day in the history of professional wrestling and the death of the wrestling business in my mind, because therefore the competition ended up going under and there was no alternative. TNA tried, but look at how they turned out. And you could say the internet, the smart marks that think they know every single fucking thing, we don't. And I can admit that shit. I consider myself a pretty smart guy when it comes to wrestling, but I don't like to know everything. The reason why I do predictions and commentaries is because I have fun doing it. Not because I like to be some guy that comes on here and says, yeah, I know it all. Ha 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 ha. I don't like doing that. I like it because it's fun and I like to interact and debate with my fans. That's what I love about it. But then you get these bloodthirsty fans that want the Attitude Era back that cannot let it go. So, therefore, you could say the internet, McMahon, Bischoff, Heyman, Russo, whoever killed the internet, killed professional wrestling. But, to that we will never know. And the thing is, we are dealing with a new generation of wrestling fans. And as much as I hate to say this, once Undertaker goes, it's the end of an era as far as I'm concerned. And I know that I want The Undertaker to retire, but he is literally on his last legs. And when he goes, that will be somewhat a symbolic end to the 80s and 90s wrestling fans who grew up in this era, and it's time for us to move on. I'm sorry if I offended any of you, but I just had to get these thoughts out, and I hope you guys aren't too angry at me, but I just had to get this shit off my chest. And I just want to say thank you all for watching, and have a good day.